Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by Tri-County Logging. Experienced in sustainable forestry practices, Tri-County Logging can help you manage your property by keeping your woods healthy and generate income. Serving southern and mid-Michigan for nearly 50 years, TriCountyLogging.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others. Join the fight.
Hi everyone, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Silik and Happy New Year. We have a special edition of the show in store for you this week. As tradition has it, we will say goodbye to 2021 and ring in 2022 by taking a look at our favorite stories from last year. My favorite story looking back was Cisco fishing out of Sutton's Bay with a great family. The fishing was amazing. It was a picture-perfect day and definitely worth reliving. Jimmy and Jordan also have their favorite stories to share with us this week.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a couple more stories on this week's show. My favorite story from this past year took place on the east end of the Upper Peninsula on Muskong Bay doing some waterfowl hunting. But what really set this story apart was the duck camp that we stayed at. You won't want to miss that. Jordan Brown's favorite story this year was, of course, his monster buck that he shot with a bow and arrow. So that's a really good story. You won't want to miss that as well. Make sure you stay tuned. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988. Offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By Alta Equipment Company, providing sales, rentals, service, and parts because uptime matters. From earth moving to landscaping and light construction, Alta offers over 50 brands across 7 Michigan locations to serve you. More information online or 844-GO-2-ALTA. By RBM JIGS, a Michigan-based company serving ice fishing anglers around the state and throughout the country. Specializing in ice fishing gear, RBM JIGS manufactures tungsten jigs, soft plastics, and much more. Online at lakeeffectlures.com.
WorkingPerson.com. From the factory floor to the job site and into the field, WorkingPerson.com supplies work boots and shoes, workwear, safety gear, and more. For individuals or outfitting your whole team. Learn more at WorkingPerson.com.
We're at Sutton's Bay, and we're going out. We're going to pursue a few Cisco this morning. We got the grandkids along, and of course Matt, and hopefully we'll find a few.
Awesome. You've fished for them already?
We've been out a couple times. We were successful earlier, so hopefully they're still here, and we'll find out in a few minutes.
Are you guys excited?
Yes.
Have you been fishing with your grandpa before?
Yes.
A little or a lot?
A lot.
Look at them, they're jumping up and eating all the bugs.
We tore ourselves away from the cute ducklings at the dock and headed out on the bay. Dan says this time of year seems to be the best for Cisco, also called lake herring.
Well, this is a shallow water fishery this time of year when the water is between 50 and 60 degrees. And the Cisco move into the shallows and feed on the gobies in the rocks. We quite often get a few snags. We got to retrieve the lures so we don't lose them. And we fan cast and keep the motor running real slow. And when we hit a fish, we put a waypoint in. And after we catch a fish, then we just go ahead and we spot lock. And we stay in one spot until the fish either move or we catch them all. and then we just keep moving along. So it's a little bit like bass fishing, but in shallow water, and we're using pretty much Luna jigs or Swedish pimples, those type of lures, and just pop them along the bottom. And because it's kind of a small profile type of lure, and very similar to the gobies that they're chewing on. So that's kind of the story.
Dan's grandson Daniel wasted no time getting his bait in the water. After just a couple of casts and retrieves, Daniel connected with our first Grand Traverse Cisco of the day.
Yay, that's the beginning.
Nice job, guys.
There he is. First Cisco of the day.
Let's catch it.
Daniel got it.
Here he is, Daniel.
Daniel?
Whoa, and he's off. Perfect. Number one of the day.
Hold on a minute. Just stay right there, okay? That is cool. Beautiful.
Good job, Daniel.
The first fish on the board. Nice work.
Well, Daniel had the program dialed in this morning. This type of fishing takes a little finesse and is pretty productive.
Just nice long casts, let it sink a few seconds, and then just jig it back in. Find out if they want an aggressive jig or just a slow, easy one along bottom. Sometimes it can be mistaken for a rock bottom. As you're jigging along, you want to be near the bottom, and with all these big boulders and rocks, all at once, on the jig, all at once your rod will stop. So set the hook and follow through, and many times they're right there. Unfortunately, you lose a lot of these fish because they have paper-thin mouths. But eventually we'll have Hannah reel one in. We're 0 for 2 with Hannah, but she's getting better on the fishing pole all the time.
The Cisco bite was on, and while Dan and Hannah tried to get one in the boat, my husband Matt was able to hook into his first fish of the day.
Got my net there, big fella? All right.
Oh, Daniel's an excellent one.
All right.
Bring him in, bring him in.
Nice.
All right.
Hey, that's skill.
This your
He
first
was
Cisco,
this is
Matt?
my first Cisco. Very cool.
Congratulations.
How did it hit?
Matt and I have known Dan for a few years now. We met him at a Mark Martin ice fishing vacation school where Dan was serving on the pro staff. We fished for a couple of days with Dan on Burt Lake and have been friends with he and his wife Cindy ever since. We've heard lots of stories about their grandkids, and it was fun to spend the day fishing with a couple of them.
Well, he might. Nope, he's still on.
Good.
Or is he off now?
Did he spit?
He's on. I see him. He's swimming with me.
Okay, let's see. There! Hon, you got him. Yay!
Good
Yeah, bring him on
job.
the boat.
Beautiful.
Daniel's on fire. Well, I have a great gift that my daughter and son-in-law have given me. I got 3 grandkids. 2 of them are with us today. Hannah's 8, Daniel is 10, and they both have the outdoor gene. They love fishing, hunting, they do all kinds of things, and for me to bring them out here and enjoy this activity is a true pleasure. They're really trainable, and they like to be interactive. So when one is catching a fish, the other one is netting it. They learn how to hold fish. They're not too squirmy and worried about it any longer. But it's a good deal. They know that you can thumb a bass and not a pike. They learned early on, and it should never be an issue. So I'm just happy that I have those guys to bring out here.
What'd you do?
He caught a fish.
Nice job. Are you gonna kiss it?
No.
Is this fun?
Yes.
What do you like about it?
I like seeing that I gotta catch a fish.
Yeah. Cool. Great deal.
Okay,
Did
let's-
you get it on the clicker, Daniel?
Yeah.
How many do we have?
5.
Woo! All right.
Very good. Okay, let's jump down.
There he is, Han. Here he is. Here you go, baby. Okay, Daniel, you got the net. Han, put that in your belly. Okay, nice and easy now.
I've been fishing here for this is about my 4th season, and just word of mouth. Different friends that have come out here and they said, come on out and give it a try, and I've been hooked on it ever since. There's a lot of ways to do it. Basically, the rods that we use are the same ones that we jig fish with on the rivers, Detroit River or 6.5, 7-foot rod. We use fire line with a nice swivel and just a 15, 18-inch leader. And you can run a heavier leader because we're using the Luna jigs that are anywhere from 1/2 ounce to 3/4. And there's a lot of rocks and a lot of structure and no reason to lose your gear. A friend of mine was checking last week what a master angler Cisco would be, and he said it was 16 inches. Well, our fish that we catch out here are averaged more than 16 inches. We got them up to 22, and they got good wide shoulders, and they're big and beautiful, and they fight hard.
Today was more than just a day on the water and more than a boat full of fish. It will become a cherished memory for both grandfather and grandkids alike, one they will all look back on and smile. Stories of the crystal clear waters, the baby ducks, the abundant snacks, the first successful net job, the ones that got away, and the lessons only a grandpa can teach. Those are the things memories are made of here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Hello. Thank you. Best $4 you're ever gonna spend.
The barge was built by the Army Corps of Engineers back in the 30s. It sat in the Sioux for years and years and years after they decommissioned it, and Paul Sabatine just had to have it, so he bought it in an auction and hauled it down here in 1985. So it's his little brainchild to make a duck camp on Muskong Bay. Now, there's 9 bunk rooms upstairs with 1 day bed in the hallway, so you can sleep 19 guys in here. And you know, the upstairs we got a full living room, and then downstairs kitchen, dining room, mud room, 2 bathrooms, you know, and it's all been refurbished on the inside, and the bathrooms have been, and we preserved all the old wood, and makes for a nice place to stay up here.
Well, we're getting ready to try our hand at some ducks tonight. We're on the north part of Muskong Bay on the far east end of the Yoop up here, and with some guys that are they look like they know what they're doing, so we're excited for tonight. Let's see if we can get in some ducks. Yeah, looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun.
Well, we're on the north end of the bay. We're on Fowler's Bay, so we basically just scout the bay. I mean, you can go from here all the way to the Muskong River. There's the whole south side. There's points on the south side. Islands in the middle. You got the Long Bar, Muskong Island, Sand Island. I mean, it's almost endless of different spots out there, you know, a couple of rivers that dump into it. So you just have to scout it. You got to get out there and scout and find where the birds want to be, and that's where we hunt. Typically, it's a big diver spot. A lot of redheads, some bluebills, lots of redheads typically. But if you get into those tight areas and you scout, and we get a good north wind and things like, we get a lot of mallards. We've shot a lot of pintail this year, widgeon this year. So we've had a blue-winged teal a few weeks back. We're still here because it was 70 degrees. So we were still shooting blue wings, and we got green wings last weekend. So we've had some good migration of birds on that north wind and the full moon in October. They moved real good last week. So. I hope your camera was on.
Nice. Boy, that one worked perfect.
Nice shoot.
Thanks, man. You could take your time. He was set, and I thought, I'm just gonna make sure he's on. Well, that was super fun. I haven't shot any ducks this year at all. First time out duck hunting. Well, with a gun, I should say. Yeah, super cool. Well, got the Drake Mallard here. Not full green head yet, but nice bird. That was a nice group, but they kind of came in behind us. Made it a little tough shooting, and we gotta see if we can track down the other ones. Another nice hen. Well, we're just getting our last duck or two. Newt's out there trying to find one in the weeds, and he's got one in his hand, so we're getting wrapped up. Well, it's about 2 or 3 minutes of shooting light left, but I don't know if we've had the camera inside yet, but I'm excited for you guys to see this camp that we're staying at. I mean, every camp is unique and really cool in its own ways, but I don't know if I've ever been to a duck camp, deer camp, fish camp, turkey camp that is like where we're staying tonight. At a floating, I don't know which lodge maybe is the best way to say it, but it's super cool. And I fished with Newt over the years for fun, and he kept telling me about this place up here in Muskong Bay, this floating duck camp, and so it is super cool. And we're getting ready to head back. I believe steak is on the menu tonight, so life is good in the Eastern UP.
Strips and baked potatoes, typical duck camp fare, right? Salt and pepper, a little Montreal steak. And there's no propane here, it's all charcoal. We like the Weber. 5 and 4. 5 on one side, 4 on the other. Those babies will be perfect.
Looks pretty awesome. We're on a floating duck blind in the middle of Muskong, well, not the middle, but Muskong Bay.
I had the temperature up.
Unbelievable here. These guys have quite a place here. Quite a place. Well, we are here on day 2 on Muskong Bay. We're tucked into some cattails here, kind of right about where we were in our second setup last night, and right at shooting light, a couple minutes past, which was too dark for the camera, but light enough to shoot. We got 2 hen mallards already in the boat, so there's some birds flying. Yeah, beautiful morning, overcast, not very cold. Just a good day to be hunting. Well, we are just getting ready to wrap up here, and we had some birds get up, filtered around, and we had one come in, and Newt did an awesome job of calling there. Turned that bird, and it came in. That's the first bird that's really worked our spread all morning, like correctly. The ones we shot early on before it was camera light came in kind of from the side, and so this is what we thought was a pretty good setup, but we're watching a lot of birds drop into spots that are not too far away from here, but there's not a lot of birds flying this morning, but it's a perfect ducky day. It just feels good, and the wind is right, and so we're about ready to wrap up, but got a couple hens and a drake, it looks like, and yeah, great morning. Always fun to be in the duck marsh. A beautiful day.
On the evening of October 5th, I decided to head back out after the buck I had seen on opening night. With a change in wind direction and favorable weather conditions, I had high hopes heading into the hunt.
Well, back in the tree stand tonight, it is October 5th, and I am hunting the same bean field I hunted on opening night. I've hunted it one time in between now and then, but it was raining. Didn't see hardly any deer at all come out to the field, at least before it got dark, so we've had straight rain for about 48 hours. Really hoping tonight it's supposed to clear up a little bit. These deer will be on their feet, hopefully getting out here to feed in these beans. And also, a lot of times after a big rain event like this, you'll get bucks that start reopening scrapes back up. And I'm sitting along a field edge here, a little bit closer to where I saw that buck than I was last time. Different tree stand, and making the most of it. Hopefully he's still alive. There's a lot of hunters in this section that would love to put a tag on that buck, so hopefully we'll get a little better look at him tonight and have him wander by. So I think we're going to see some deer. If the rain is truly done, which is what they're saying, this bean field should be full of deer by the time it gets dark. It's just whether or not he comes by and if it's close enough with the bow. So sit tight, see what happens.
Shortly after 6 o'clock, 2 bucks made their way out into the bean field. While I was busy getting footage of the second buck, I kept hearing something in the timber where the 2 bucks had entered the bean field. Eventually, I was able to make out the body of a third buck making a rub, but at the time I didn't have any clue how big it was. With the buck at less than 20 yards, I was finally able to identify just how big he was, and immediately prepared for the shot. I assumed the buck would go out into the bean field like the other 2 bucks had done, but of course he turned and headed the opposite way, where I was not set up and only had one shooting lane before he'd disappear back into the timber.
Brett? I hope that was the right buck, but I'm pretty sure it is. I think I just shot that big 10-point we were in here after. Unbelievable. It's 618. 618. I had 2 bucks come out here in the bean field, and I kept hearing something rubbing right alongside of me. And then I finally made out antlers, and he was at like 15 yards, and I couldn't see him at all. I finally got a glimpse of him when he was rubbing, and I thought he looked like that 10 because he had a little split G2 on the one side. And of course, instead of going in the bean field like the other 2 bucks did, which would have been perfect, he cut back behind me in these pines. I had to grab my bow while the other buck was right underneath me. He spooked, so I quick got my bow up. The buck was staring right towards me, never looked up. I was able to draw back and get a shot. Well, just got down, wanted to give this buck some time, so we did that. Gave him about a half hour, watched the shot several times, feel really good about it. It's possible it's a little high, but looked good for a double lung shot. I thought I heard a crash. Everything seems good. So I'm sitting here on the edge of the bean field right now. I've got my wife, 3-year-old daughter, and 7-month-old son coming out here to help me track. So hopefully we can do a short blood trail here and get this buck out of here. super, super thankful to landowners that let me hunt out here, and just another opportunity to hunt here in Michigan, and excited to see them.
Hadley, what were we chanting in the car? Daddy got a big buck?
Yay, Daddy!
You ready to help track?
Yeah.
First track job out of belly. Woohoo! And you get to stay up past bedtime.
I see.
What?
See what?
What do you see?
A deer.
What? Be careful.
Deer. I see deer, Dad.
A short track job led us right to this beautiful Michigan buck, where I couldn't help but feel thankful, not only because it was a big buck, but also for the well-placed arrow, and for having the ability to share the experience with my friends and family.
Thanks so much for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Happy New Year once again, and we look forward to all of the great adventures we have in store for you in 2022. If you'd like to see where we are and where we're headed next, you can always check us out online.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Online, good way to kind of keep tabs on us. You can do that through our website, our different social media platforms, as well as YouTube. And make sure that you are joining us over the next few weeks. We are excited to get back out onto the road, start traveling the great state of Michigan again. And from all of us here at Michigan Out of Doors, Happy New Year. And if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by.
Do you dream of somewhere bigger than your backyard? You can get there with Greenstone. Whether you want to hunt, fish, hike, or just watch the sunset, we're ready to help you own your place in the great outdoors. To learn more, visit greenstonefcs.com.
By GREENMARK Equipment. GREENMARK Equipment is a John Deere dealership network in southwest Michigan and northern Indiana. GREENMARK provides sales and services to farmers, commercial businesses, large property owners, and homeowners. Information about pricing and products available can be found online at greenmarkequipment.com. By Showspan, producing consumer shows including the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit, January 6th through 9th at Novi Suburban Collection Showplace. The show features fishing tackle, trips, boats, and seminars from top pros. The Ultimate Fishing Show, Novi, January 6th through 9th.
By Jay's Sporting Goods, with locations in Clare and Gaylord. Jay's has been serving the Michigan outdoor enthusiast since 1971, with a wide variety of outdoor products. The gear, the knowledge, the tradition of Jay's. On the web at jaysportinggoods.com. Closed captioning provided by Marvo Mineral, makers of Lucky Buck, deer management products including minerals to supplement deer diets year-round to improve health and antler growth.
When I